high school sports, we've got it covered. Overtime starts now.
Hello and welcome to Overtime. I'm Scott Leber.
And I'm Drew Collins. We're back and ready to hit the ground running with the basketball version of Overtime.
This is your Friday night home for high school hoops for the remainder of this season. Tonight we're going to start off with a big show. I'll interview Paityn boys coach Bobby Heisler, and we'll spotlight Freeport's London Paityn, a young woman with a new school, new teammates, and a whole lot of talent.
But the bread and butter of this show, as always, is the Friday night highlights. So let's get right to it. We begin with girls Nick 10 action from Guilford.
The Lady Vikings and the Boylan Lady Titans, two of the conference's top teams in the Gillies Heating and Air Conditioning Game of the Week. This is our Guilford huddle cam. The Vikings were on their game in this one. A prime example here is they're going to force the Boylan turnover. They'll get the ball ahead to Jaleese Williams. She absorbs the bump and still gets the hoop. Now watch Aisha Smith go to work. A one-hander that is perfect. Smith again. Not this time, but wait a minute. She'll convert her own miss. Shania Gaines getting into the action for three. Yes. And if it feels like Guilford was dominating this game, well, they were. Olivia Mace is going to strike from behind the arc for Boylan. But Olivia DeShazo will answer with her own three for Guilford. Zariah Burnett going to take off for the basket. The foul, no hoop there. No problem though, because Zariah still got her points at the free throw line. Guilford won impressively over Boylan, 43-26. At Jefferson, the Jayhawks hosted Belvedere and Emma Pearson. She came in needing 20 points to surpass the great Amanda Levens as Belvedere's all-time scoring leader. Abby Brascia is coming out strong for Jefferson. She scores there. She's going to come right back, knock down a three-pointer. Strong game. She's having a strong season all the way around. The Lady Bucks worked and get it into the lane to Kayla Baudet. She's got it. Mercedes Howlands left open, though. Hits for the Jayhawks. Ariana LeBeau's also having a great season. She squares and fires in a three. More LeBeau here on the fast break. Up and in. And now we get to that young lady, Emma Pearson, driving and scoring. And she's going to show us some of her defense, too. Racing to block the shot that was put up by Brascia. Now back to Emma's offensive game, the jumper, and Pearson did break Levin's all-time scoring record with 2,079 points. Great job there, Emma. That record's even sweeter for her because Belvedere also got the win, 80-61.
All right, the other Nick 10 games, or girls games, Hononegah beat Belvedere North 68-26, and Freeport beat East 63-22. Auburn had a great game. They beat Harlem 53-49 in overtime. The rest of this season will be recognizing an Overtime Athlete of the Week.
We picked 4 players who stood out the previous week and let you vote on which of the 4 you think should win.
We will announce the 4 finalists every Monday on our newscast and social media. You can vote anytime Monday through Thursday night by going to mystateline.com. We will also have those polls on social media. Athlete
of the Week is brought to you by McCloskey, Kessler, and Associates. Our 4 candidates this week were outstanding.
They were as the following: Allie Pogel of Genoa Kingston, Lainey Cahoon of Orangeville, Amir Danforth of Auburn, and Darius Harrington of Dixon.
And the winner, based on your vote, is Orangeville's Lainey Cahoon. Almost 2,000 votes were cast. Cahoon received 39% of those votes. Again, all 4 athletes were remarkable last week, but congrats to Lainey of Orangeville, our first Overtime Athlete of the Week. Over the holidays, she had games of 29 points, 39 points, and 46 points at Boylan's Reindeer Classic.
Coming up in a bit, we'll have tonight's Nick 10 boys games, and we'll take you to Winnebago and Rockford Lutheran for more boys battles.
Up next, though, I'm going to sit down with Paityn boys coach Bobby Heisler to discuss his undefeated Indians. You're watching Overtime.
There are only a couple of undefeated teams so far this season in the state line. One of them is Paityn boys team.
The Indians just missed going to state last season in Class 1A. They've got their core group back, and they're coming off 2 holiday tournament championships, and they are 12-0. Let's learn more about Paityn. I sat down with head coach Bobby Heisler this week. So over the holidays, very successful. You won the Eastland Championship, then you go down to the State Farm Classic. You won the small school boys division for that. Did you see everything you wanted to see in those two tournaments out of your guys?
I don't know that we saw everything that we wanted to see. Obviously, I'm proud of the guys and how they've played and how they've progressed to start the season, but constantly looking at ways that we can get better. I'd like to work a little bit more on our depth, and that's going to be a focus come the middle part of this season. So that's an area that we'd like to get better at. We also had some shooting woes from outside in the free throw line, and having been around the game for some time, I understand we still have kids getting their legs. I mean, we're only 10, 11 games in, so we expect that to probably improve somewhere middle, end of January.
The teams you played at the State Farm Classic were Olympia, Quincy Notre Dame, Normal U High, St. Joseph Ogden. That's some pretty good competition there. What did you learn going through that gauntlet of those teams there?
There were different styles of play, obviously, for each team. And that's really what is really nice. Not that I don't enjoy playing area teams, but to get out and see some different strategies, some different approaches to the game, and just some different faces, I think it stretches kids a little bit.
Last year, you guys came as close as anybody can come to going to state without quite making it, losing in the overtime in the super sectional at NIU. So is everything that you're doing this season and everything you did over the summer geared with the thought of getting to state and making it happen this year?
I think that's always the goal. Different challenges arise each year, and no two groups are the same. I don't think we necessarily approached this year thinking about last year, because we lost some key pieces and we added some different ones, and we're a little bit different team than we were last year on the offensive side and on the defensive side. So really what we're trying to focus on is just maximizing the potential with the group that we have now. And that's pretty much what the summer was geared towards. And I shared in a previous interview, I thought our seniors did a phenomenal job this summer of letting some of the underclassmen playing some of the tougher spots over the summer, and gave them a larger role, which has helped with confidence in some of our guys and helped our depth to a certain degree thus far.
Speaking of underclassmen, I was at the championship game at the Eastland tournament against Eastland, and Zion Brima, he was outstanding that night. Gave you, I think, 19 points, some boards, some good defense. He's only a sophomore, he's got length. How excited are you about his upside, what he's doing for you already, and what he could do for you down the road?
Extremely excited. I've been watching him since he was in 6th grade at the junior high, and each year he's developed a little bit more. I was happy to see that he committed to an AAU program this past off season. He was also involved with football. I think both of those things kind of helped his maturity, both mentally and physically. And I think he's got a lot of confidence right now, and he knows that his teammates have confidence in him. So extremely happy with where he is. He'd be the first to tell you, Coach still thinks he has a ton of room to grow. And I think as he gets better, we too will continue to get better on the season.
Later this month, the Indians will be hosting their annual MLK tournament, and they have a great field again.
Rockford Christian and Eastland are a couple of teams in that field. Hinckley Big Rocks, another big one. We're back right next to the highlights next. Boys action, Nick 10 style and Big Northern style.
The Byron boys graduated a lot of great players from their team last season that finished second in the state in Class 2A, but the Tigers are still one of the winningest teams in the state line.
They were 10-3 coming into tonight. They visited Winnebago to face the Indians in a big Northern Conference game. These two teams met right before Christmas at the Forston Holiday Tournament. Byron won that game by 2 points. Bago's Blaze Brown gets us kicked off with this beautiful triple threat move, utilizes the pump fake, and look at that, what a bucket. Byron's ball, and they set up Ben Hively for the three, and it's good. He's only a sophomore. Brody Larson grabs the board. Check out this throw, launches it down the court. Mr. Colin Bull gets the easy layup. We're gonna go around the globe, back to Blaze Brown. Blazing speed, watch his snatchback. Money, Blaze was cooking with some spice. They led for majority of the game, and Bryant Beck was draining shots. By the way, he's a 6'4" freshman with a deep bag. Watch out, state line. Byron's Kason Newton nearly had half of Byron's points. He scored 21 tonight, but it wasn't enough. Bago delivers some sweet payback. They upset Byron 57-52.
There was more Big Northern action at Rockford Lutheran. The Crusaders hosted Genoa Kingston. This is our Tom Goosey cam, and I cannot get enough of that cam. Yeah, let's check out the Satyrs. I hope Goosey's watching right now. I'm sure he is. GK's Jack Peterson got himself a lay-in here. Nice little move there. Cogs next, off and running. Nathan Kleba sacrifices his body for the assist to John Swinehart. The Satyrs, Zach Van Blericom stepping behind the arc. He doesn't miss many of those. You're going to see what I mean right here as he comes back with another one. He scored 22 points. Hayden Hodgson going to elevate and sink the jumper. Richard Anderson on the dribble, going to switch hands, leaving him a wide open path to the basket. Joey Luna going to find Mason Keller on a sweet play there for the lay-in. The Cogs were starting to hit some threes, though, late in this one to cut into what had been a big Lutheran lead. Now, check out this drive by Logan Currington. Did you see that little hang time there? Watch him. See? He's defying gravity there for just a split second. I caught it. Anderson then going to feed Keller. The shot goes around the world and in, and that one pretty much sealed this one late. Keller scored 20 points, and Tom Goosey's guys, folks, are coming together very nicely. Lutheran tops Genoa 69-56. Well, the last time a Nick 10 boys team won 3 straight conference championships outright was in 2007. That was the year the Boylan Titans won their 3rd in a row.
The Guilford Vikings could be on their way to a 3rd straight undisputed championship. They were 7-0 in conference play going into their game tonight at Boylan. Guilford up in the 2nd. Isaiah Primus going to find Cordell Spencer inside, and he'll drop it in. Not a lot going on in the 2nd for either side, but a Boylan turnover leads to a fast break, and Primus finishes this time. Boylan trying to find some offense. Jalen Golden gets it behind the arc and drains a 3. It was a different story early in the 3rd. Boylan gets the steal off the giveaway, and they get some points on the board with the lay-in, but they were still trailing. But back to the other way, 6'4" senior Jaden Webster turns inside and gets it home. Next possession, after some great passing, Webster inside puts home another. But Alex Ambrose of Boylan isn't ready to give in just yet. He gets the steal and the breakaway lay-in to keep him hanging around, but Guilford wins it 66-49.
At the Castle, it was Harlem against Auburn. Harlem's going to get us started on offense. Matero Pereira going to cut in, then step back, and rings it in. But watch this on the other end. Amir Danforth starting the passing. The Knights go around the world with it. Back to Danforth, who cut all the way across the floor. He drills the 3. More Harlem here. Matero Pereira off the inbound. He'll drop in a 3. He led the Huskies with 11 points in the 1st quarter. And then Julius Roundtree will drain another from downtown, and Harlem was up early. But it's so hard to keep Danforth and his Knights down. He's going to drop in another 3. Mateo Pereira, though, trying his best to match Mr. Danforth as he drives and gets the and 1. Auburn, though, would pull away and win this one big, 81-55. At East, the E-Rabs hosted the Freeport Pretzels.
We hear Reanne Weil likes pretzels. She joins us in now for the story of that game. Hi, Reanne.
Hi guys, the East E-Rabs have had a lot of tight games this season. Wednesday night they won at Harlem on a 3-pointer at the buzzer. Now would they have another nail-biter tonight at home against the Pretzels? These two teams have had a tight record. East headed into this game leading the all-time 87-86, and there is the man of the hour. It's Sterling Horde with a nice pass from Myquan Marshall for the first points of the game as he drains a 3. And now a little around the world action. Here we go, we're gonna see it here, and this time it's Will Robinson swishing it in. The E-Rabs proving time and time again that they can shoot from the distance. Now here comes Horde, he's gonna shoot it again, drain it, and he had 6 threes on the night, all from different spots on the court, and he totaled 37 points. Freeport had a slow start, but they did put some numbers on the board, like this clean 3-pointer from Declan Rustad. He led the Pretzels with 11 on the night. Some stellar defense here by the E-Rabs. Freeport trying to get it out, but Brian Harper snags it, hands it off to Horde, who can't get a shot off, so it's Marshall who's going to drive it to finish it. Great team effort here. And although this one here didn't count because his foot ended up stepping out of bounds, I still had to include it. Marshall has a steal and an empty court in front of him. He goes up, bounces it to himself, and dunks it. Now look at that. If I had $1 for every time I jumped that high, I'd have $0. The E-Rabs breeze past the Pretzels 78-38. Now, I've heard you guys talk about Sterling Horde before, but he really proved himself tonight, having almost half of the total points for the E-Rabs. What a great night for him. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Reanne, and we move on to Belvedere, the Bucks and the Jayhawks. Second half action, Bucks on the fast break. Dominic Alvarado collects the ball and scores. It's the Jayhawks' turn. Michael Townsend dribbles, bounce pass to Sebastian Bracious, and he gets the 2. Late in the fourth, close game here. Jefferson's press defense was working, but Brandon West finds Demetrius Tiborn by the lane and extends the Bucks' lead. So with 7 seconds left, Jefferson misses the three-pointer here in the corner. Sebastian Bracious puts up his jumper, and guess what? It is good, but it wasn't enough points to come back. Belvedere wins it 64-61. Belvedere North hosted Hononegah. Look at those purple and gold jersey. Blue Thunder's Noah Rooney drives down the paint and finishes the layup. Indians' Caleb Hart kicks out to Davani Lathan, and he splashes it behind the corner arc. That's a nice shot there. Braden Lewis will try a deep 3 of his own, and he buries it. Look at that form. That might be NBA range. Hononegah on the fast break. They will not get any points because of this impressive block by Nathan Alexander. Now Braden Olson corrals his way through the defense. A nice move. Hononegah wins it 52-33. Let's take another quick break.
Stay with us because up next in our Spotlight segment, we focus on Freeport's sensational sophomore, Paityn London. One of the top talents in girls basketball locally is suiting up for a new team this season. Paityn London has gone from Freeport-Acquin High School to Freeport High School, and she's gone from the Northwest Upstate Illini Conference to the Nick 10, and she's still making spectacular plays. We focus on London in our Spotlight segment brought to you by Benchmark Exteriors. London splashed onto the high school basketball scene last season as a freshman at Freeport-Acquin. She averaged 20 points per game, plus 7 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and 4.5 steals. She was named second-team All-State in Class 2A. But when Acquin officials announced at the end of the last school year that they were closing their high school program due to a drastic drop-off in enrollment, she needed a new school and a new team. She decided to stay in her hometown and enroll at Freeport.
It hasn't really been a difficult adjustment. It's been a lot easier than I was expecting. Obviously coming into it, you don't really know what to expect though. So I was just kind of come in, be myself, be positive, bring all the values that I have and all the attributes that I bring to the table.
Freeport head coach John O'Brien got the news that London was joining his program in a group text with London and her parents.
Sit in my office and got the text that she was coming. Had a big smile on my face, went right down the hallway to my assistant coach's classroom and told him right away.
London was welcomed into the program by all the girls on the team.
They have been so welcoming to me, they're all my best friends now.
London's first game with the Pretzels was against Morrison. She scored 34 points. She had 25 points in her first Nick 10 game against Belvedere. Right before the holiday break, she scored 30 points against Guilford. I asked her if there's a difference between NUIC basketball and Nick 10 basketball.
It's the same game, obviously it's the same sport, but there's definitely a different level of physicality to it.
Now that you have a chance to see her on a daily basis, is there anything about her game that has surprised you?
No, not really. I know everything that everybody was talking about with her game is she's lived up to that expectation. But everything about her on the court is exactly what the hype is.
Even though she's only a sophomore, London's presence and her commitment to basketball has sparked the rest of the girls on the team.
She's brought a little bit more inspiration to the rest of the group that we have, and I get kids now that want to be in the gym every day, that want to match the level of play that she plays at, or want to be the best contributor they can be to take a lot of pressure off of her, whatever they can do.
One thing that has changed about London is her uniform number. She wore number 23 at Acquin. Now she wears 21. That number goes back to her Acquin roots and her favorite player.
I've always wanted to be 21 since I was little because of Sophie Bruner.
Bruner was the All-State player who led Acquin to back-to-back state championships a little over a decade ago, and who went on to start Arizona State and then played professionally. London couldn't wear 21 at Aquin because Aquin retired that number.
So then I went to 23, which is like, you know, Michael and LeBron, which are pretty much my favorites. But yeah, I've always wanted to be 21, so then just repping it here is pretty big for me.
How much do you miss Aquin and the people of Aquin?
Yeah, I definitely miss the people a lot, and the atmosphere was great. Like, I felt really welcome there, and all of them are still my family. I still talk to all like the graduates. I still talk to all of them.
Paityn spends her summers traveling, playing AAU ball. College coaches know who she is. She already has offers from D1 schools, Wisconsin, DePaul, Lindenwood, Loyola, and Denver. She has plenty of time to decide where she'll go, but that next chapter is very much on her mind.
I definitely think about it a lot, you know, like where I could be in a couple years. But it's something that I try to kind of push back sometimes, just to focus on the now and be present in the moment, you know.
For the moment, Paityn London is a Nick 10 player and a Freeport pretzel, and she's very happy about that.
Coming in with these girls have been so great, and I wouldn't have changed my decision for anything, so I'm just really happy to be here.
We'll be right back.
There will be a lot more basketball action tomorrow at Rock Valley College. The Rumble in the Rock will take place.
5 games in all, 4 high school, 1 college. It starts at 11 a.m. with the East taking on Auburn in a girls game. At 12:30, it's another girls game between Jefferson and Guilford. At 2 o'clock, the Rock Valley men host MATC. Then it's back to District 205 action with a boys doubleheader, Jefferson, Guilford, and East Auburn. Admission is $8. Hey, we're going to be right back here next Friday for another episode of Overtime. During football, our start times varied a bit because of college football and Fox, but for basketball, we are here at 11 o'clock right after GN Sports.
For another look at this entire show or for scores and highlights of individual games, go to mystateline.com. That does it for this episode of Overtime.
Have a good night.